Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on whatever part of the continent, globe you're sitting right now. Welcome to another edition of the Football Exponential Show. Today we've got a lot of things to unpack. I've got my buddy with me. Frank, you want to say hi to our viewers and
Hi,
listeners?
hi, hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the show. We're so happy to have you join us today for some football discussions
All
because
right,
it was a very interesting week this in the Premier League. So
all
let's go
right.
into it.
Perfect. Football was back. When I say football was back, I'm saying the interesting league games, everything that has to be unboxed was unboxed in European football this weekend with a lot of clubs coming back to action. But we're going to keep it simple in this episode. We're going to keep it really nice with the Premier League game week 8 review, and we'll be going around the block quickly. We'll be looking at some of the interesting things that happened across the week. We'll be unpacking some games, talking points, actions, etc. And we'll be, of course, interested as always to hear your comments and read your comments and hear your opinion on some of these things. Please, so if you haven't hit the like button, please go for it. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the Football Exponential Show at this point, I'm really worried for you if you're a football fan because you're missing a lot of important conversations going on there. But let's get to it. Liverpool Chelsea will be one of the things, the matchups that we're going to review today. Of course, we'll be looking at what happened in the Man City Wolverhampton games. I mean, you're looking at a player in itself that anytime you hear three, you can simply think of a hat trick. But it's been three blank games for Erling Haaland. I'm curious to know what's going on. I'm curious to hear your opinion on that as well. Foden
Okay.
has been quiet as always this season. And we thought it was a national team situation, but it seems like that lack of form is going into the club football as well. So we're checking on with Foden to see what's going on there. And also we'll be checking to see um, this defensive lack of transition from Man City, what's going on with the defensive lineup there. It seems like Gajov is always going to bail them out, and it seems like we're always going to keep it on our to-do list that another weekend of football, maybe we expect Man City to chip in goals and take one in by themselves. So I will be checking on that as well. We'll be looking at Arsenal and the Bournemouth game. We understand Bournemouth is a very organized team, very difficult place to go to, but as Arsenal being unlucky, I mean, three red cards this season already is a conversation that needs to be had. What's going on with the referees? What's going on with the club? What's going on with the players? Are there some pressure? We'll get to all of that. And of course, there's still some interesting things around the game week 8 block. We'll be checking on Everton return to form. Um we'll be checking on other interesting things actually. So stay glued as we get it rolling. But now back to the most
To
important
the game of the week.
game of the week for game week 8. Frank, I'm curious to know, were you entertained with Liverpool Chelsea's game?
Oh, yeah, as our in-house as a Chelsea fan, I think it was a very good game for the Premier League. But as a Chelsea fan, going into this game, I feel so far this season, I felt very confident going into a lot just about every game we played so far this season. I have the feeling where we have the tools to score a lot of goals, create a lot of goals, create some, to have some good moments in games. But there's just one aspect of Chelsea right now that's still a bit questionable, and that's the overall defending from the goalkeeping to the centre backs and the overall organization on that back. But I felt very confident, and I felt on the game or during the game, I felt I felt happy how we started off the game, especially going away to Anfield against a Liverpool team that has started the best, probably the best team so far in the league that have been more consistent. Only two goals conceded, only one defeat in all competitions for Liverpool so far. So I was looking forward to a good game. But one thing that surprised me a lot was how quick Liverpool abandoned their overall game principles that we've seen so far. This is where we've seen Liverpool pressing very high up the pitch against most teams, AC Milan's United, Manchester United, but against Chelsea, they had that idea for the first few minutes, but with the fantastic players Chelsea had at the back, in the midfield, sorry, Lavia and Caicedo, who were to me some of the best players on the pitch on the day, they quickly recognized that if we keep trying to press Chelsea have all these players to play out of our press quite well, and they can hurt us on the other side of the pitch. So I think they quickly realized that, and they dropped a bit deeper, and they control the game from there. Where okay, you bring the game to us, we'll sit deep in our block, and we'll try and catch your transitions on the counter attack. And for the first 15 minutes, Chelsea were doing fantastic. There were a few openings. Sancho was looking good. Madueke was having the better of Robertson. Palmer didn't really get into the game yet, but Chelsea were looking comfortable especially at Anfield. But then the whole nature of the Premier League, where a few long balls down the channel against the first one, Jota and Tosin, where Tosin has to carelessly bring Jota down and gets a yellow card, which could be debated, could have been upgraded to a red card, but he was a bit lucky on the day. He gets a yellow card, and that changes the game because the crowd wakes up. Liverpool start finding their feet, finding their confidence, and they start finding their best players in the right position. They start finding Salah down the wing. He gave Levi Colwill a tough. Levi Colwill had a tough 5 minutes where Salah kept Salah. His runs of Salah was worrying him. Runs of Jota were worrying him, and from one of those situations, they get the penalty where it's a clear pen. That's it's just Colwill tries to kick the ball. The ball isn't there, but he catches Jones, who had a fantastic game, and it's a pen. So Liverpool go 1-0 up. And from there, the game just starts to it ebbs and flows between Chelsea and Liverpool. No one team had a real control or had the better chances. Chelsea had a few openings, but they didn't really fashion anything tangible. Then you go into halftime, come back. There's a quick change for Chelsea. Net Pedroneto comes on. I felt he had a good game when he come on. He was one of the better players in the attacking department for Chelsea. Then Chelsea started the second half fantastically. They started really, really well. They immediately get a goal, equalizing goal from Nicolas Jackson, and they leveled the game. But I don't know if it's a situation where because it took a long time for the goal to be confirmed, they had to check they had to check on VAR the offside lines. It took about a couple of minutes. I don't know if that pause in the game took away Chelsea's concentration, which then led to Liverpool's winning goal from Curtis Jones just sneaking in at the back post to put the ball in the net. Chelsea's defense was caught a bit short at the back again in terms of concentration because you should really not be in that situation where if you see a player coming, he just gets an unchallenged run into the box, takes a touch in your box and finishes perfectly. So but from then on, Chelsea made. I feel after then, with every change Chelsea made, Enzo coming on, Kuku coming on, though they were fantastic players, but it took it took a lot from Chelsea to wrestle back that momentum they had, and Liverpool just controlled and managed the game perfectly from there on. And which is the new Liverpool we're seeing, the more control, the more they've got the handbrake on now. They try to control games. They're passing the ball more often. They're going long. I felt like it just showed how mature they are. This is the team in the final form where I feel right now Liverpool are in the title conversations. Now you see Van Dijk at the back, Konate, Alisson missing today as well. But Trent Alexander-Arnold was fantastic again with his defensive duties. I know a lot has been said about Trent not being a good defender, but I feel today he showed like he's probably the best right fullback in world football right now. Not just attacking, but even defensive, being a lockdown defender. He had a good game. But I think overall, it's not a game that I'm happy to lose because no one's ever happy to lose a game. But it's a game I take a lot of confidence in Chelsea's overall approach and Chelsea's the new Chelsea going forward. So I'm okay with the result. But I feel we played well. On another day, we could have gotten a penalty in the first half before Liverpool go a goal up, but it's a tough one. So I think overall, it's just one of those games that you play against one of the best teams. Like I said, that's probably going to challenge for the title, and you just come up short over to the overall quality. So, how did you see it from a neutral's point of view?
It was an exciting game. I wanted it to be a 2-2 draw as per prediction.
Oh
But
yeah,
again, I find it very strange because in all of the exciting and interesting things that went on in that game, I was rooting for Cole Palmer to show to the rest of the Premier League that is indeed deserving of the conversation to be the best Premier League player this season. He was awkwardly quiet the first half, very minimal impact on the game, very minimal contribution. Not even one of those games where you see dashes of brilliance here and there. It was just literally, it was silenced. So that is one thing that I wanted to happen differently. But, Jackson just before his goal, which I consider to be, I think of everybody who watched that game and who were present on the field of play, I think he was the one who was absolutely sure that that is a goal. I think he timed his run to perfection there. I think his finish was quite exquisite in how he delivered it, and
The pass was
the,
fantastic too.
and the pass was brilliant. It was just
Yeah.
brilliant. It was just run into that space. And Jackson is that player that looks like he's not confident, but he's quite assuring of what he wants to do. If it were a different striker from the first touch, you can already predict that they're going to smash the ball down one corner or the other. But
Nunes.
he's just yeah, he's just gonna go in as close as he can get to the post, out to the goals, and then he's gonna probably just nick it through or poach it or do whatever thing, and we find it at the back of the net.
Yeah.
So it was really good. But yeah, it was a very interesting game. So moving on from that, red side of the Mercedes game into the blue side. What do you think about Everton this season? How do you think they're faring? Are they back in form? Are they winning games now? Are you happy with what you've seen so far?
Everton. It's I know there's been a lot of discontent on that blue side of Merseyside, where a lot of the Evertonian fans they feel Sean Dyche isn't the right manager to take the club forward. Well, which in to an extent I understand those questions, but I feel the Everton right now there are very few managers that can represent Everton, that can manage to navigate the situation where Everton find themselves at the bottom end of the table better than Sean Dyche. He's a manager that has absolute buy-in from the players. He
Hmm.
has he has the know-how to navigate tough waters in the relegation battle, and he
Hmm.
knows how to keep a team confident even when you go through a spell of bad results, because they didn't start the season fantastically. And to be fair, they never start any season fantastic. So it wasn't. But so it's nothing new to Everton. So I feel, but what I've liked so far in the last course, let's be honest, to be fair to Everton, they've been certain games where they've gone away to Aston Villa. They were 2 goals up against Aston
Yeah.
Villa. Then they bring it back to 2-1. Kevin Louis misses a couple of chances that could have killed the game. They ultimately lose that game to a fantastic goal by John Duran. And the home game against Bournemouth a week before, where they were winning 2-0 again, then they lose the game 3-2. I think those were the lowest points for them this season. But I think for them now, I like how he's in a way reinventing the team. There is not some fun. There's not some good. There's not a lot of good jobs. A lot of good job. Fantastic. Sorry, I was thinking he's done a lot of work to get the team tactically set up. Dwight McNeil is playing more as a number 10 player infield, and he's getting into that. He's getting into his creative bag where he's creating chances for his teammates, supplying Cavallon, who was I think was wasteful again on the weekend. But between Dwight McNeil and the new signing Ilman Indai, they have enough creative and attacking threats to get goals, especially because goals are hard to come by in the Premier League. I also feel defensively sometimes what kind of Pickford do you get on the day? Is it a Pickford that
Hmm.
is locked in? Is it a Pickford that gives away mistakes or lets silly chances get by him? And defensive, that's where they might need a bit more or a bit more work. And with the return of their star defender, Gerard Braithwaite, could also improve them. But I feel I'm happy to say that winning, playing well, not just winning, but playing well, creating chances, defending well. I believe this is back to back clean sheets for Everton
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm happy to see them back to where they are. And yeah, so I think it's for them. It's all about the game for Everton is just staying as far away from the bottom
Relegation.
4 or 5 as possible. So I feel especially with the bunch we have this year, Southampton, Leicester, and this pitch, I feel they can achieve that. Going forward, I don't know if Shondach is the manager to get them to take them to higher ground, but I feel if you're Everton Football Club and you're in a relegation fight, I think Shondachi is the best manager in world football for that particular task at hand.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. And now moving on from one team that puts on a different shade of blue, who showed a different class to the fans over the weekend, to another team with a lighter side of blue in another city where there's a blue and red rivalry. We're talking about the Manchester City game against Wolverhampton yesterday. Um,
Yeah.
so that game for me, I know Wolf probably would say they were not deserving of a defeat, but it was one game when you look like this is the defending champions. Have they really defended their title as expected? What do you think about the Man City Wolverhampton game so far?
I think with Man City, it's very. I know it's a big cliche. It's a big cliche to say Man City. This is Man City. They don't really start fantastically and they improve as the season goes on. But what 8 games into the season so far, they played a few big games home and away. But I'm still not sure what to make of Manchester United, Man City. To say it's just I know they have a lot of injuries to big players. Rodri is out for the season. Kevin De Bruyne's been injured so far. Foden has barely found his form so far in the season. But I just so far I'm looking at Man City and just feel in recent weeks is a bit too predictable, and that's from the Arsenal game, the Newcastle game, and on the weekend against Wolves, where it's simple. You pack you defend low against the Man City, you pack your box, you mark it. You have one or two players marking Haaland of the game. You effectively gets not useless, but it's effectively he can't get the ball because he doesn't want to come short, and and they don't really want to cross the ball into the box to service him, so it's very hard to get good usage from him, and they find themselves in a situation where they're just final third passing the ball from side to side, and eventually someone steps up and scores a goal, and on this day it was star center back Guardiola who's making a name for himself for scoring clutch goals, not
Three
just
months,
clutch goals, but
3 months.
he's scoring he has scored some fantastic goals in the last 8 months, even in Champions League against Madrid and the Premier League. He finishes better than most strikers in Premier League, I would say, especially on his right foot, which is
Exactly.
predominant,
You're supposed to be
which
his
is
weakest foot.
exact. So he comes clutch for them again with the equalizing goal. But from then on, there was just there were a lot of shots from outside the box that were not really threatening enough on the Wolves goalkeeper. They were quite comfortable for last pass of the second half until the dying pass of the game where they have this in the last minute. They have
Corner over
this
corner over corner.
exactly corner over corner where to Wolves credit they defend well enough, but on the last corner, the decisive corner, the match winning corner on the day where Foden crosses the ball. And John Stones, who's surprisingly again like Guardiola, he's coming clutch for Man City. He had the late equalizer against Arsenal a few weeks ago, and the winner today, which well, I don't know what you think. Was it should it have stood or should it have been chopped off for offside? Bernardo Silva
Uh, uh,
interfering or
in reality, I feel like the overall refereeing decision has been very inconsistent with Premier League this season. In a different game, I wouldn't debate if that goal was chopped off. But in this one, I feel like if nothing else, the keeper wanted that engagement with Bernardo Silva, in my opinion. But I don't think Bernardo Silva was obstructing the play, but also he was not obstructing it as well, if you get what I mean. So you were standing somewhere around the purview of the goalkeeper, and he would be a distraction. Now, how
yeah
big of that distraction? It's
yeah
something that because that ball, if the keeper had maximum concentration, I still don't think he would stop it because of
yeah
the
because
velocity and
it
the
was
way
a
it was going. A fantastic header.
fantastic
Had
header from Stones.
had the right pace, had the right trajectory, and went right into the top corner, the top bin of the net. So it was one of those goals where I feel like if it were chopped off, I would understand why. But I agree that it should stand because again, chopping off goals like that would mean how do you
Bit
score a
harsh,
goal
yeah.
then? Yeah, how do you score a
Yeah.
goal? Like, because there are a lot of things going on in the box these days that I feel favor the defensive unit more than the attacking units. Some activities like that, and then when you add something like that to it, it will be even more controversial. But yeah, overall, I think Man City's game should improve if they're going to defend this title. I did agree with you in your earlier statement when you mentioned Liverpool are contenders. They look organized, they look calm, they look like the run of features gave them the confidence, give them the opportunity to build the confidence at which they're playing right now. So it's not
Exactly, yeah.
slow build up, and then you're gaining your confidence, you're getting your
Yeah.
rhythm, you're getting clear expectations. And don't forget, having the luxury of keeping players like Luis Diaz seated on the bench and still able to perform at the level at which you perform.
Yeah,
I don't even think McAllister started that game if my
yeah,
memory
exactly.
serves right. So
So because I noticed they left
all the South
Liverpool.
Americans, yeah,
Exactly, they left all the South Americans. I feel which is a lesson the coach has picked up from the last international break where they lost their only
yeah,
match
to
of the season so far. Where
Nottingham Forest because there's
on
some
that
fatigue.
exactly. So I think that because he's also learning and picking up new information and trying to develop the team to another level. But that's fine. But back again to Man City, I just feel they look, and I know this is again back from international break. A lot of teams look rusty. A lot of teams don't look well,
Well drilled.
well drilled. But I feel in the last two Premier League games, especially against Wolves at home, sorry, against Fulham at home, Fulham had chance after chance. Adama Traore had at least
Two, three,
two
yeah,
clear cut chances. And today I know before City equalized, not really chances, but Wolves had a lot of chances or openings in
yeah,
transition on the counter
yeah,
attack. Matthias Cunha, who I think is one of the best players in the Premier League, is
yeah,
just I think he's a player that's prime for a big move
yeah,
to a big not just in the Premier, but a big club in Europe, probably Barcelona, who need more depth in an attack. But I feel he was causing Man City a lot of issues. So I don't know if it's just the absence of Rodri or no Walker, or they've not had a settled defense so far this season. But they look very open at the back in
yeah.
recent games. So I don't know how Pep finds that solution, but if there's anyone that can find or manage that solution to just plug the gaps that are appearing in Man City's off the ball approach, I think Pep Guardiola is well suited. But I
Yeah,
think yeah, come in.
yeah, no, in my opinion, I do see that gap in defense coherence right now. It's not as cohesive as it should be. Also, I don't think that is the only problem, right? I feel like
Okay,
we're looking at great C Man City in the last 3, 4 weeks. And why am I saying that? Even to kick off to their Champions League, they were not particularly brilliant
I guess it. Yeah,
against Inter Milan. So and for me, they're lacking that creative spice. Now, are you talking about that coming from Foden? I don't think Gurgen has actually returned and come with a presence and results and contribution that you would
yeah,
anticipate. So there is gap there.
it's been
And
tough.
it's
But
been
also,
very tough for him.
but also,
And
like, I know you're sweet, but also there's been one player that I've been very disappointed so far with not just this season but overall at Man City in the last year or 6 months, and that's Bernardo Silva. I feel in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne and Foden still finding form, you would expect Bernardo Silva to be hitting higher levels than he's currently showing.
I,
He hasn't.
I, I think officially this is his last season, in my opinion, with Man City. This is
It's
the make it or break it or leave right now.
because
Because
it's looking very in most games. He's a fantastic footballer, no doubt in that. I feel he's very anonymous in majority of Man City's games, regardless of the position against Arsenal. He wasn't really showing for it. If and if anything, and you say like you mentioned Gundogan, I feel I don't know if this is Gundogan's retirement party because he certainly played like it. He hasn't matched the intensity of the Premier League or Man City's intensity. He seems a step behind everything. His touches in crucial moments are off. Decision making in final thirds a bit off. It's just overall flow is not quite there yet. But again with Man City, they're notoriously known for growing into the season and players just coming up clutch or getting better towards the back end of the season. But with how this season is panning out, I feel this might be one year where their bad starts could put them in big trouble, considering because with Liverpool's emergence, in my opinion, as one of title contenders now, they go to Arsenal in the game we'll talk about at some point. If Liverpool win at Arsenal, that's already 4 points, 7 points between Arsenal and Liverpool already this early in the season. And with Man City to play Liverpool as well, it then puts Man City in a very tight spot, especially if they can't fix their creative issues and their defending transitions, because Liverpool, I think, are primed to
yeah,
cause havoc
and
against Man City.
I think we shouldn't forget when we think about Man City is this, the oppositions going there with one clear objective. We want to go in and have the best possible defensive masterclass that we can. Wolverhampton sat deep, Fulham didn't do anything different. The
Yeah,
list goes on. So, but now you're seeing that explosiveness with how Liverpool plays and how people go for it and all those kind of things. Um, but I believe, okay, at this point that it's still too early to say Liverpool is a title contender, even though I've seen more than flashes of brilliance. I've seen level of consistency that makes you feel this team can go
yeah,
all the
yeah,
way. But we need to see that happen more against big teams because it's not like the Blue Chelsea way. They could have as well had the draw in that game or even lost that game as well. But
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, going to Arsenal is going to be another conversation. And I think based on that, we can transition into the next talking point with Arsenal and Bournemouth game. It's true, going to Bournemouth any day of the week, it's going to be a difficult place to go. They're one of the most organized teams in the Premier League right now. They understand what defending should look like and how transitioning into attack should work for them. They know when to commit players overload offensively and how to bring them back defensively. And those um, with or without the red card is already looking like a difficult game for us now. But to some of the talking points of what happened in that game, have Arsenal been just plain blank unfortunate with refereeing decisions? Because when you look at what happened at the back and you look at, I'm just asking those questions because
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
look at
yeah.
what happened with the defense,
I know
with
what's
the red
coming.
card sending, and you look at what
Yeah.
happened with Tosin, there's not too much in terms of the situation there for
Uh,
between it's not too much because I watched that clip
yeah,
over
yeah,
and
yeah,
over
yeah,
again. It's
yeah.
not too much.
It's not too
Uh,
much, but there's
uh,
enough of there's enough of there's enough distinction in both actions that yielded two different results. And I feel with I know Arsenal feel there's a conspiracy or they've been targeted by the Premier League or there's some there's a cabal of is it Premier League clubs or referees or owners who are hell bent on making it tough for Arsenal to win this Premier League. This is what a lot of Arsenal fans feel,
mhm.
and they're feeling like honestly, football is very. I think in sports in general is where every fan believes the referees are against their team. I know this is a thought
No,
you
not every
subscribe
fan.
to.
Let's hold it back. Not every fan, please. Imagine as a Real Madrid fan, I
Oh,
can't think that.
come on,
I
come
can't
on now.
think this season. I can't think as a Real Madrid fan that any referee has been against me. It's not possible for me to think that, and that's the fact. It's as pure as possible. It's as green as daylight. Even as a Man City fan right now, I can't even think any referee is against me. So I don't think
Okay,
every fan justifies it. There are some
okay.
fans which legitimately should feel that way, and Arsenal fans are one of
Do
them.
so?
Yes,
Do you feel Arsenal fans should feel legitimately targeted, or Arsenal being legitimately targeted by the refereeing organization to punish them for whatever reason? Do you feel
I'm not saying it's a fact, but there's
because
substance to that feeling because if you look at how Trossard was sent off, that happens every other day in every other game.
so
Now,
it's so
is it deserving to be sent off by the books? Yeah, it should be.
okay then?
But does that
Yeah,
happen all the time? Absolutely not. And then you
no,
go on
no.
to the red card for Declan Rice as well. Should he be sent off? Yes, it's not
Okay,
debatable, but does that happen all the time? And then when you look at this same exact situation with Saliba, and then you look at what has gone on with Tosin, do you not see the pattern? So it's
okay,
hard to
yeah,
look at it
okay.
and it's hard to look at it and feel like, as an Arsenal fan perspective, looking at it from an Arsenal fan's point of view, it's hard to look at it and say, oh no, we just got another red. It's three red cards in 8 games for a
Which
team
is
that should be contesting for the title.
for
And
for an attacking team that is meant exactly to be up there fighting for the title. That
yeah,
is
there's a lot. There's a lot.
that is kind of
There's a lot.
but no but like you said like you called off the three different red card offense and you've agreed those incidents in isolation a red card is fair but now you ask okay do other teams get punished for this event which is I, I don't think I've seen a player being sent off except Arsenal players for kicking the ball off getting a second yellow card for kicking the ball off or getting for just that ball. It's also another point where I'll put that maybe other players in Premier League aren't getting sent off because they don't do those silly. silly things where everyone according to Howard Webb, they spoke to all Premier League clubs this before the season started that we are going to come hard on time management and time wasting in the Premier League. If you intentionally kick the ball off with intention to delay the game, that is a bookable offence. And if you're Declan Rice against Bournemouth or Brighton against Brighton with already one yellow card to your name, you don't interfere in that. You don't find you shouldn't be in that situation where you're kicking the ball off, be it intentionally or unintentionally or just being unlucky. You shouldn't put yourself in that position. Okay, then that happens. Let's play. Okay, that's a bit harsh. That's unfair. That's happened the first time. The second time, a few weeks after that against ManCity, the Trossard, who on the days he wasn't quite playing well, was giving away a few passes, and we saw again to this weekend where he had a bad pass that resulted in the red card for Saliba. He gives away a bad pass. He tries to win the ball back. He gets emotional, then kicks the ball away, gets the red card. That is a player acting out of shape. Then you get punished. Is it fair? Yes. Is it fair? Yes. Is it harsh? I'm bound to agree, but those are the rules. And with Saliba's red card, the distinct difference between this and Tosin's, or in my opinion, is I feel there were two factors that play a big part in this, and that's one is the flight of the ball and where the direction of that ball is heading. Saliba's situation, the ball it was more down the middle, and that's clear on goal. Where if you beat Saliba, it's you and the goalkeeper because David Raya refused to come out, and I'm not quite sure if Ben White could catch the attacker. But in Tosin's situation, Tosin Colwill, they're a bit tighter in this instance where had Jota gone through, Colwill is close enough to make a defensive action. And if that Jota isn't clear on goal, so it's not denying a clear and obvious goal scoring chance. So I think that's just where that decision differs from Arsenal's decision. But again, I feel I'll go back to the beginning before the red card, and I feel I saw Arsenal's lineup. This is also without Odegaard, Saka missing these games, um, Timber missing as well. But in the attacking department, Saka and Odegaard were notable absences. I saw that lineup where, with especially in midfield, Mikel Moreno making his Premier League debut, Thomas Partey in midfield, and Declan Rice in there as well. Then Sterling, I think this was Sterling's second start in Premier League for Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Trossard out wide and Havertz through the middle. I saw that attacking six or that front six.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. I said this is not good enough. This cannot be. You can't. I understand injuries are part of the game, but Arsenal with the aspirations they have, that cannot be a lineup you're putting out 5 years in with this coach, with millions being spent, having spent millions on that team. You can't be putting up a lineup that looks honestly that average, and it shows. It just shows how much Arsenal have become heavily reliant on Saka, Odegaard for
Yeah.
that creativity, the goal scoring, and relying on some other intangibles, scoring goals from set pieces and whatnot. But Arsenal were not playing well before the red card. We don't know what the result. We don't know what the result would have been with Spade 11v11. But I just feel since I don't feel this in Arsenal they've done well to get the points they've gotten so far. But I just feel overall this season Arsenal have been quite poor. No.
Yeah.
I think like very predictable, quite poor. I know they've done well, but if I was to pick it, I'll probably say so far this season. I know Saka has been doing fantastic so far, but I'll probably say David Raya has been their best player this season. Either David Raya or Saliba have been their best players this season. Because if you remember correctly, the game against Aston Villa earlier in the season, where Raya keeps Arsenal in the game. Even games coming up against Leicester at home, Southampton at home, this game shouldn't become as emotional as or Arsenal should be making these games tough for themselves against two newly promoted teams that are struggling. Where they go down against Southampton, you rally, come back, you win 3-1, but you're winning comfortably 2-0 against Leicester City. Then all of a sudden you concede two goals. Then you have to win the game in extra time of that game. You
True.
eventually win it by two goals. So there's a situation where it's very tight. And I looked at again. I looked at the lineup and asked, at what point does Arsenal or Mikel Arteta trust their 17-year-old prodigy, Ethan Nwaneri, and give him a role in the first team in the absence of Odegaard, especially with the team, because there's no creativity in that midfield. Declan Rice, in my opinion, hasn't started the season well. He's been quite average for club and country so far. Thomas Partey is a good controller, a good defensive midfielder. You know what he gives you. Moreno we're still yet to see him in the Premier League, but there's no creativity in that team. So even with 11 men, how did Arsenal plan on going about scoring a goal? Was it you play the game and hope to get a goal from a corner? If that was the plan, it's at this point with this team, with this so long into the development with this coach, it's not good enough. And I know to sound silly, but even if you go to 10 men, the game can still be won with 10 men. It doesn't make it an automatic write off where you go down to 10 men. Okay, okay, you know what, we lose the game and that's fine. But you can still win the game with 10 men. And even that they had a chance at the second half at 0-0. Martinelli comes off the bench. He has a chance. Kepa, Chelsea's very own Kepa, gives the ball to Martinelli, who should be finishing better. But again, he misses. Then boom, the game changes and they eventually lose. But still, if you unless I'm being harsh on Arsenal, but I just feel at this sitting time, one, you shouldn't be getting sent. You shouldn't be getting this much red card for silly, petulant mistakes. Like it's not like you're getting sent off for aggressive tackles, fouls. You're getting sent off in the most silly ways possible. To me, it's crazy. Then you look at the quality; it's not good enough. The game management from certain players is not good enough. The two match defining actions in this game was just from Arsenal's mistakes. The second goal from a back pass from the defender that leads to the penalty. The red card was a back pass from Trossard that led to the red card that changed the whole flow of the game. It's just not.
Yeah,
I know
I do
it's
agree.
just not good enough.
I agree. There's still some part of it that when you think about it, Saliba should have just allowed that bomb. If they score, they score. There's still time in the
Exactly.
game. Nobody who can
It's
compete at 11 versus 11. But making that decision, I believe he thought it wouldn't be more than a yellow card, and he will get away with it. But yeah, so I think
yeah.
from what you've said so far, what I can gather is that you know Arsenal's red cards are part of their mistakes. They're badly behaved in some of the games where they should be behaving better. They could be more adventurous in how they start some of their youth players like Wannery. And
No wonder,
also,
yeah.
yeah, and also maybe at this point there should be a general assessment from Arsenal fans towards their coach. It's 5 years in the project, not a lot of trophies to show for it, and also not a solid backup crew to come in and bail out when
Yeah.
and I think
Exactly.
I remember we had similar conversations at the start of the season and we pointed out some of these things as part of the
Yeah,
possible reasons
exactly.
why Arsenal may not go all the way. And
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and
Yeah.
it's just too early. Game week 8, we're seeing all of those revelations, and it's quite worrying. But it's unfortunate for Arsenal to have lost the game 2-0, but not undeserving for Bournemouth to have won that game two
Yeah,
goals
that's true.
up.
That's true. Bournemouth are fantastic. So give them
Absolutely.
the
So,
credit.
so moving on to another part of London, Tottenham got the win against West Ham. What do you think about that game? Was it a masterclass from Tottenham? Was it another Tottenham? Let's see what happens. Or was West Ham awful? I'd like to hear your opinion on that game.
I I think this is one of those games where all the things you mentioned are true. West Ham being awful. Tottenham were fantastic. Their better players were on form, creating a lot of chances, free flowing football, back go to from box to box. Both there was a lot of good attacking players on the pitch for both sides. But with Tottenham, I felt Tottenham always create chances. But being how they play, they always give you a chance on the counter attack, or they give you a lot of chances. And earlier on, Kudus got a similar chance to the goal he scored. That he pulled off a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. So Tottenham didn't really pay attention to that one in the first time around. the eventual goal they conceded was from just bad defending again, where they had numerous times to clear the ball from their box. They didn't. Eventually, the ball falls to Kudus at the back post, unmarked again at the back post. He finishes perfectly. Then Tottenham at this point were still playing well. They were creating chances, creating openings, but then they get the equalizer goal from Kulusevski, who was from the standard player on the day. He was the standard player. Then they go in at halftime 1-1. And for me, the most significant moment of the game happens when it just happens at the stroke of at halftime when the whistle's being blown for halftime. You could see the coach and Postecoglou making a sign to one of their substitutes to go on and warm up. Is coming on in the second half. So at that point, you think, okay, someone's probably injured, but it's been confirmed now that was a tactical change to take off James Maddison, who was having an okay game by his standards. Not was flashy, was creating, was looking good on the ball, but he made that change to give Tottenham. He brings on takes off Maddison and brings on Papa Matassa,
Yeah.
who then gives Tottenham the balance they've lacked in recent weeks in terms of stopping the counter-attacks, making them covering a lot of ground, just giving that whole team, because they've been doing this thing where they play Madison Kulusevski together as two number 10s, then below number 6 in Bissouma, supported by the wing backs or the full backs coming into midfield. But that leaves you open for counters in wide positions and through the middle because Madison Kulusevski they don't carry that weight defensively. So, well, as he made that change, it freed Kulusevski even more, freed up Son, and Tottenham just took the game away from West Ham. West Ham had no reply. They scored. They scored 1-2-3. They win the game by 4-1, and it turned out to be a comfortable routine win for Tottenham. But I think Tottenham I feel Tottenham one of the best. Like Tottenham game is probably some of the best. Just
Overall game
from
plan from an
yeah,
attacking point
exactly.
of view.
Exactly, like you see a lot of invention, a lot of passes, dribble, a lot of creative, a lot of bright ideas happening there. But defensively, just lack that know-how. And this is, I think, coming off the bad result they had before the international break against Brighton, where they surrender a 2-0 lead. This shows and is finally getting the message. Okay, if I'm not, we need to be a bit balanced, a bit tight at the back to give ourselves that platform to go on and showcase our attacking talents. And for West Ham, this is their second London derby where they start off early in the week, early kickoff or the first game of the weekend. Similar to the game against Chelsea where they also lost by 3-0. And it's the same mistakes I saw against Chelsea, the same flaws in their shape, same lack of effort in certain players tracking back. I saw again against Tottenham, and these are two London derbies for West Ham. I know it's not really they're not the big it's not the North London derby, but still West Ham, Tottenham, and West Ham Chelsea are big fixtures in London. And also the overall setup from the coach wasn't good enough. The lack of invention to solve or lack of problem solving from the bench wasn't good. So the attitude with certain players not tracking back, understanding when, especially for the first goal, Kulusevski's first goal, where just the
Just
two defensive
leaving
midfielders
him,
are these two defensive midfielders are caught high up the pitch. They can't retreat in time, and Kulusevski finishes
leaving him.
fantastically. It's just for a team that has so many because they have there's Kudus, there's Gerald Bowen, there's Lucas Paqueta, and with like I said with Tottenham, is it a situation where you might just have too many attacking players on the pitch at the same time, where you probably need another midfielder there to balance them out. Because I feel there were just too many gaps in West Ham's, especially in the half spaces and the wide positions. They were easily pulled apart. So it's not alarm bells yet, but I feel it's a situation that the coach needs to address before it
It
starts
gets
to
extremely.
exactly before it starts to snowball. Because like I said, good night,
If I get extremely
good night. Yeah,
if I get extreme if I get extremely disturbing. Yeah, that is one of our podcasters in the future. You get to meet our audience very soon.
yeah.
But
True.
moving on and getting into the rhythm of the players and the team that did well this week. There's something that's been a little bit consistent with the English national team players, be it first team, be it backup players. We've seen a good level of inconsistency and poor forms coming to the club football. For example, I'm talking about players like Phil Foden not hitting the ground running, Declan Rice has not been at his impeccable best. We've seen off and on days from the like of Madison. We've seen, your
Really, Rashford,
Grealish,
and
Rashford, all of those players, they've not really put their act together and it's affecting their club one way or the other. Now, I'm wondering, does that affect your stance when we look at the teams that have defended very well in the Premier League this season, especially looking from game week 8 downward a little bit? What do you think the best defense of the week is?
the best defense in the league.
Yeah,
So it's and I feel like this is another question that came to me when I was watching the Chelsea Liverpool game, and it's the same old statement where they say defenses win you titles, or the defense wins you the league, not quite the attack. And it showed in how comfortable Liverpool defended against Chelsea, against Cole Palmer, and Madueke. They made it tough for all these players. They rarely give away silly goals or silly chances like you saw with Chelsea. Sanchez was having a moment. You could roll the dice on every action he makes if it's been the correct or wrong choice, because it's some this one action is making a fantastic 60-yard pass to Sancho on the wing, and the next one is a 5-yard pass is misplacing the 5-yard pass. So, but in terms of the defense, I feel currently right now I feel Arsenal have the best defense in the league.
Arsenal.
Yeah, I think Arsenal have the best defense in the league in terms of the quality they have. Quality wise, they have the best defense. Tactically, in terms of how Arteta has coached this team so far, I feel that back four, back five is like probably the one that's most solid in the Premier League at this moment in time. Then I'll put Liverpool at number two as the second best team defensively, quality wise and tactically, because you have probably the best. You have one of the, no, you have the best centre back in the Premier League. Van Dijk
Mhm.
on Van Dijk leading. Konate is growing into his own as the partner to Van Dijk, and you have Robertson. Trent is looking like a lockdown defender. Then I'll say Man City third. Not because they defend well, but I feel Man City they defend best with the ball. So, but
Mhm.
they keep the ball away from the position 95%, adjusted for the opposition, but they keep the ball away from the opponents 95% of the time. So they control those situations, but the one or two occasions they get breach, it leads to a chance. Like Diaz, I'm not really high on Diaz in terms of his overall defending. Stones has lost a bit of his overall quality as a defender, aggressiveness, pace. He's lost that in recent years. Kyle Walker, there's this opinion Kyle Walker is a fantastic defender. For me, that's not true. As far as defending goes, he's as bad as they come, but he has the pace to recover in those situations. Rico Lewis, yeah, I know, unfair, but I feel Rico Lewis is getting more games so far on the weekend. He got the start as starting the most games as a teenager for Guardiola in Guardiola's career, or most starts as a teenager in Guardiola's coaching career, 25 starts so far. So he's growing to the team. Guardiola is an auxiliary striker these days. He's not he's an okay defender, but he's a centre back playing left back, so it's a bit awkward for him. So I feel, and these are the three teams I would put in the race for the title, who are in contention for that title, where they all defend differently, but you can still see this that partnership with Arsenal, Saliba, Gabriel, and David Raya. Liverpool the same. Alisson, who's injured, unfortunately. Alisson, Konate, and Van Dijk. Even they have probably one of the second best choice goalkeepers in the league, alongside Ortega or ManCity. Keller as well, who was okay against Chelsea. And that's where you see for teams that aspire to get to that level, Chelsea's, Tottenham's, Manchester United. I know it's just defending isn't the only issue, but That's what
Mhm.
that's what that this is what it looks like. This is the height you need to reach. Where I feel like nowadays most teams, very few teams keep clean sheets these days. Like
Mhm.
a lot of teams, but it's the overall confidence you have in that backline. I feel like all of Arsenal fans, if Arsenal have come a long way from having a very shaky, weak, not tough enough. Now in fact, you could say they're a bit too tough. Now they received their red cards. The amount of red cards they've accumulated since Arteta took over. But I think like best defense right now in the league, it's I'll give it to Arsenal.
Objection there, in terms of the way you rank the defensive capabilities. But there is also another part of of this episode that I want us to unpack. This is where you get most excitement, if you ask me. But before we get into that, again, for our viewers and our listeners who haven't smashed the like button, you've not subscribed to the channel, or you're not putting in your comment, please go in there and let us know if you agree or disagree with our comments so far. And don't forget to smash the like button. It's a way to grow the community and keep us going. But now, Frank, this is one part of the edition that I know you love the most is when we want to talk about the player of the week.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I really want us to look at this without bias. I have a feeling that that player of the week is going to come out from a particular game because of the pattern that I've seen in recent times. Usually, the Super Sunday clash or the Super Weekend clash usually produces the player of the week. Maybe
Yeah.
because of viewers' excitement, maybe because of the pressure that comes with the game, or just the ability for players to step up and do a great job. Um, Tell me that I'm wrong, that your player of the week is not coming from the Liverpool Chelsea game.
My player of the week is not coming from the Liverpool Chelsea game.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
impressive. All
It's a
right. So let's.
very so this weekend there were a few good performances. Rashford was fantastic for Manchester United. Kulusevski we spoke about was good for Tottenham as well. Son was back to his good goal scoring form and creating for Tottenham as well. And obviously the Salahs, Jones, Gravenberch, Caicedo for Chelsea Liverpool game. But I'm going to go to left field option, and this is a game I was watching. I watched on the weekend, and it, quite fun enough, this is a player that didn't start the game. He came on the bench, came off the bench in the 59th minute of the second half, and
Mhm.
he then had one of the best performances I've seen from a player this season so far in that short amount of time, and it's Abdul Fattah on Leicester City. So it comes off the bench with Leicester losing the game with Leicester 2 goals down to
Mhm.
Southampton. He comes off the bench, and from there he just becomes a one-man attacking machine. Where at every time he got the ball, he beats the fullback, wing back covering for the fullback, driving down the byline, driving inside, creating chances. He he destroys Southampton's left flank on the day. Got an assist for one of the goals, but his overall threats led to the penalty for the equalizing goal and the eventual sending off. I just felt his drive, the dribbling, the pace was just unmatched for Southampton. I know it wasn't. This isn't quite Liverpool. Southampton Leicester isn't quite Liverpool Chelsea, but that performance was mind blowing, and that's a performance that okay. Because this is a player that I know a lot of Leicester fans are a bit they're a bit disappointed he doesn't get more starts in the lineup so far. But I'm sure with this sort of performance, he's going to be getting a lot more starts with Leicester going forward.
Well,
Uh, and just before, I just want to give a notable mention to Dwight McNeil on Everton as well.
well,
Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
I'm really liking Dwight McNeil in that number 10 position behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's looking the business right now.
Oh, those are very, very, very good options.
Yeah.
I do agree they're not in the category of conversations that a lot of people would have in their mind. I was on the other side of it totally. I was picking
Okay.
my best player of the week from the best game of the week in my option, in my own
Yeah.
opinion, and I think Curtis Jones was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mo Salah is a very notable mention there. He got the penalty right into the post, got the goals going, and he was involved in the assist that led to the winning goal. Mo Salah, he was brilliant. But cutting Joe's back to back in the box, end to end. And for a player that not had consistent impact into the game, he was given a big one, and he showed why he should be in the first 11. He influenced the game in every possible way.
Every, yep, I
He was
agree.
defending, he was defending, he was winning tackles, he was taking the game up to Chelsea's attacking field. He was involved in both goals. He scored one. He was the guy that was fouled for the penalty, and he could have
Was
won another
foul,
penalty as well.
exactly, yeah.
Depending on how the situation went. And it was just too much to handle for Chelsea. Um,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that is my player of the week for game week 8
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
EPL. And
That's a good
then
shout.
yeah, then Mo Salah, and yeah, so that is
Yeah.
about it, right? So those are our players for the week, and yeah, as usual, you guys would expect that at the end of this show, you will see our usual game team of the week. It will drop once we've covered the Nottingham Forest game that we have this coming up in a few, just not too long from now. We'll be watching
Yeah.
that game,
Yeah.
and we'll be unpacking our player of the week right after the game. I'm looking at a couple of surprises to go on there, but we'll see how Nottingham fare against Crystal Palace. But yep, this is a wrap for the edition. Just before we go, Frank, do you have any words for our viewers, our audience, and for those that are part of our growing community right now?
Just a big thank you, and big thank you to for our growing community for the support, the the, the love we're getting. Thank you for the likes, the comments, the views. Thank you for all that, and we hope to keep doing this for much longer, more consistently. So thank you for that.
All right, fantastic. So this is a wrap. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to this
Okay.
edition and being part of the Football Exponential Show. Until next time, continue to enjoy football. Catch you soon. Take care, guys.
All right. Bye. Bye.